Okay, this is the 40 Plymouth that Jolene's welding on. This car has been here for quite a long time. Me and a couple friends chopped it one time, and it just sat outdoors. It seems like I do that a lot. What I'll do is I'll get something, acquire something, a project, and first thing I'll do is I'll run it in, cut the roof off it, throw it back outdoors, and look at it. Because I like to change things, you know, and this is one of the cars that I've had for a long time, and now Jolene is helping me fix it. So as Jolene's helping me fix it, we're welding the front fender on. And what I was saying about the front fender when we weld them on, we would spot it 6 inches apart. That's what I'm saying, 6 inches apart. So if I spot it there, well, I know my next spot will be there or there. And I'm saying 6 inches, and you know, I don't know what to tell you. 6 inches, you know what 6 inches looks like. Look on the tape measure and you'll see. But you can do that by eye. That's the way I do it. And that's the way I got Jolene to do it. And then after you get it 6 inches apart from front to back, then I would jump in the middle of one and do the 6-inch thing again. You just jump in the middle of each one and do the 6-inch tack again. When you do that and you're done that one, well, then you come back and do it again, if you know what I'm trying to say. You just find a different spot, but you make sure you're welding 6 inches apart. And the only reason I'm saying that is to keep the heat down as low as possible. Also, when I say to keep going like that, that means that you can keep working. There's nobody, you can't stop welding, you know, if you know what I'm saying. You should be tack, 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 and you continue until it's done. Not sure what the difference would be. I know what the difference would be. If you run a bead on it, you'll warp it. If you run a bead on it, you'll warp it. This way here, you're not going to warp it or move it out of any position. Jolene has welded on it for the very first time. I've just ground it off. If Jolene comes over and takes a look at it, that's ground off. And I'm going to show you how I ground it off. Excuse me a second. Should we have feet there? I'm going to show you how to ground it off. I ground it off with a hard disc. I like to use the grinder and a hard disc first because I can get at it. This stuff here, like these things here, where they're small, that's a finish tool. That's not to be grinding weld and wasting those things, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. If you got the money to waste those things, and give her hell, you know, or a tap and disc or whatever. But when the fender is welded, the first thing you grab is a grinder, you get a hold of that thing, and a hard disc. And what I do is I find one point of the hard disc that will grind just the weld. As you can tell, I have not chewed up this metal or chewed up this metal because I have nothing against it. I want to take that down. Where Jolene's weld has been knocked down, I've only knocked it down until it touches the other metal, and that's it. That's as far as you can go. After I ground it down and got it cleaned up so it looks good, I've taken a drill and a stripper wheel and cleaned it up again so we can start again. So what has happened is she's done all this fender, and then she's gone on and done some of this fender, and now she's back on to plugging in some pinholes. You can see right here, like she's trying to plug in these pinholes. You know, there's the pinholes that she's filling in. And that's the only thing we really have to fill in. And what I was saying about a coat hanger, if you come and take a look, you can see the edge of the fender here where there's no weld on it. You can see a little bit edge over there where there's no weld on it. What I'm saying with a coat hanger is I would fill that shut from there to there so I can grind it off so you see this, you see it flush, right? Jolene is welding it on with the welder. I do not mind that because we can skim that with some glass and then we're on to filler. It's better to have it low as metal than high, because when it's high, you have to beat it down. So that's what we're doing at the present moment. As you come over this side, we can see how Jolene has tacked it every 6 inches, but now it's starting to gather up. She's starting to get closer at getting it completed. Now she will keep on going and plug every pinhole on those. 1, 6 inch apart, one there. then she'll run up here, one there, and then she'll up here, one there, and then come back and do the exact same thing. That way there, the heat is not all over the car. If you see a bead of weld that's welded on a car, generally if you go over and touch it, you'll feel that it's warped. And what I mean by warped is they've taken the metal and put it out of shape. It would be the exact same thing as me coming out and hit it with a hammer, and I'd have to fix it, put fill in it and fix it, as getting a dent in your car. When you warp something, you've destroyed it, because now you have to fix it. And the name of this game is not to destroy it before you fix it. So that's what we do. As we get it down like this, I will, if you want to run fours and try to make, what I mean by fours is I mean one bead, 1, 2, 3, 4, and fill that. You grab the air hose and make sure that the air is on it as soon as you're done. And what I'm saying by 1, 2, 3, 4 is that if you get it every inch apart and you want to do 1, 2, 3, 4s, you can do that, but make sure you have the air hose and ready to cool it off at the time that you do it. And all that will do is try to make your weld look a little bit better. Another thing, I do not care what the weld looks like before I grind it. And I'll tell you why. Because I can grind it off and fix it, if you know what I'm trying to say. You can come in here and throw a perfect little bead in there, but when you grind it off, there'll still be places that you missed, I guarantee it. As we're doing this, Jolene is learning and doing it as I ask. Basically it. And I enjoy that. You can see how we're spotting it up in here trying to get it going across. Now she's just going to come back and try to fill some of them in. It's not saying anything. That's how sheet metal is welded, one tick at a time. If you do not weld it like that, that's up to you. We don't TIG weld here. We haven't got that. We do not want to spend the time for that, I don't think. I don't think we want to spend the time. That stuff requires time. Time. It's been a good week here, or a good weekend, and we'll make another video on that one. Oh, I just want to show you this here for a second. Someone said something about the welder. I do not want to miss out anybody that's learning or wants to learn. How's that? It's a 110 welder. What I mean by 110 welder, I plug it right in the wall. No, this one's a 180. Sorry, we have a 180, a 220 welder, and we have a 110 welder. Generally, the 110 works as good as the 220, to be honest. But as we're working this thing, Jolene is on B, and her speed is 5.5. The first thing she does when she comes out here before she welds the car, she turns on the welder. Okay, that's the first thing she does. The next thing she does is she pulls the trigger. And you pull the trigger, see if it works. The next thing she does is you come over here and you turn the gas on. We have gas on our welder. You turn the gas on, or you open the gas up. So we open the gas up. When you turn it on, I find the button here. Jesus. When I find the button, there's the button. When you turn it on, the first thing you do is pull the trigger and see if your gas is working. See it move? Watch this. See it moving? We know it's working. Generally, they say, what I've been told when I was taught as a young boy, they say put it on 20. I don't like putting it on 20. I like putting it on in between 15 and 10 because I want to save on my argon. I do not want to use it all up and just waste it. I do not. I find it works just as good. So why would I use more than I have to? That'd be like wiping your ass more times than you have to, right? That'd be like wasting toilet paper. Wasting toilet paper. So that's the first thing you do. You turn it on, turn your gas on, check and see if that's working. If you're at the right oxygen or your right argon for your welder. Then you're going over and you're putting your ground on your car, and then you're starting, just like that. And it's the exact same thing when you fill up your paint gun. You put paint in it, you go over to the car, you do not just spray it on the car, you spray it in the fan first and see if it works. You know, before you paint your car, you just don't fill it up, start painting. No, even a spray bomb, you check it first. You know, that's what we're doing with this. We turn it on and just check it, see if it's working. And that way there you know before you start that you're not going to have all this bubbling going on. So Jolene's just going to continue on filling this fender and welding it up for us. When you grind it, make sure that you're not grinding that metal or that metal. You're only grinding the weld. That's all that needs to be ground on this one. That's all it needs to be ground. I think we might have found a heart this weekend, and yeah, that's what's going on. We didn't get much done over the weekend and Monday. We had a lot to do. We'll make another video on that because there's just something I want to show you.